city. Don't go around tonight, or it's bound to take your life. There's a bad moon on the rise.
Well, how are you guys doing today? I'm just going to do a short show, and people will show up or they won't. It really doesn't matter because it'll be on YouTube, so everybody can watch. How you doing, Patriots? I decided to go PC finally. You know, you know how I've been an asshole, and I said I'm not going to PC. Well, taking a book from Douglas. Page from his book. He's with the CIA, Constitution in Action, right? So I'm going to be patriotic constitutionalist. I'm going to be PC. Fuck the politically correct bullshit. I'm going to call a black man a black man. I'm going to call a Chinese Chinese, Japanese Japanese, Mexican. Mexican, I guess. I could call it different. I'm going to call a homosexual homosexual. And I'm going to call a retard a retard. Okay? It's that simple. Now, the show's going to be kind of short today, but hey, it's not a big deal. I'm sitting here watching you guys in my in the chat room, so if you guys got questions, just let me know. I'm pausing the playback, so I don't know if anything's happening. I'm going to pop out the chat. I'm going to be watching the chat. And then basically I'm going to just do my show. The thing is, too many people out there have been, oh, we can't offend this person, we can't offend that person. Each time you sit there worrying that you're going to offend somebody because of your speech is giving them the right to ignore your rights and liberties. Seriously. I mean, think about it. I go over to my in-laws, and my mother-in-law is very sensitive about what she hears. She doesn't like to hear bad language, so I don't say bad language. But there's a lot of times I want to say this is fucked up out loud, but I'll say this is messed up. You know, change my wording just a little bit, and I never feel comfortable there. Why? Because in giving her the right to dictate what I can say, it makes it so I'm not comfortable there. And if you want to give people the rights to say your language or that terminology offends me, well, you know what? I say fill out a butthurt form, fill out or grow a fucking backbone, grow a set of balls, whatever you got to do, get a thicker skin, because I'm not going to say this just to offend you. I'm saying it because it is part of my personality, and I'm not going to alter my personality just to make you comfortable. Now, I will say I do watch my language around my in-laws because, well, for me, that is a respect, and I still got use for them. If it ever gets to a point that they decide to start dictating what we do in our own home, then I have no use for them anymore. I basically tell them fuck off. But when we're at their house, I follow their rules. Unless I can get away with it without them knowing. Like my mother-in-law, she absolutely insists that all males, whenever they go take a piss in the bathroom, sit down and piss that way, so that the splashing is to a minimum. You know what? I close the door. I lift up the seat. I piss like a man. And then I wipe down the toilet seat just to make sure there's no evidence. I get away with it. And it doesn't matter because she doesn't find out. She doesn't get irritated. Mainly, she's worried about the cleanliness. Seriously, my mother-in-law's house would make a hospital jealous at how clean it is. But, this politically correct bullshit leads to another thing. You guys have been hearing about it like crazy. Target. Gender neutral bathrooms. Or, wait, not gender neutral, it's gender identifying bathroom use. Or something like that. Basically, if when you walk into Target, all of a sudden you feel like a chick. I mean, if I could walk into Target and I could say, you know what, I think I'm going to go get a dress. So I'm going to go use the women's bathroom. They allow that. Doesn't matter if a 12, 13, 14, 9, 8, 6-year-old girl is in there. Well, I can just walk in and the Target won't do a damn thing about it. Fathers throughout the country have been outraged, considering how many pedophiles we have out there. How many people out there are willing to take advantage of young innocents. They're getting outraged over it, and I agree with them. It's fucking bullshit. But you know what? Exactly, a cross-dresser, not a transgender. But whatever you identify. I saw a Facebook post that was just so funny as hell. It was a comic strip, and it showed a man in drag walking up to a female's bathroom, and there was a sign on it, and there was like two good old boy, cowboy hat, country boys leaning up against the wall close to it. And the sign read, if you have male genitalia when you walk into this bathroom, you won't have it when you walk out. The females can use a male's bathroom no problem if they're comfortable enough. Now, I'm going to say this. I used to be a janitor at a bar, okay? I would rather use the male's bathroom. Because as a janitor, the female's bathroom was the one I dreaded going in. Not because I was uncomfortable around the female's bodily fluids or whatever. It was because, honestly, one, it stank worse. Two, what happens in the female bathroom evidently stays in the female bathroom. They're nasty as hell. They try to keep things clean, and they try to keep things nice in public, but in private, we don't care. Fuck this. Especially if they're drunk. Okay, you guys can hear me fine, right? It keeps on telling me my dropped frames detected. I might change my frame rate here real quick. Resolution less. Well, it won't let me change it now. Oh well. We'll just deal with this. Yeah, so seriously, as a man, use the man's bathroom. As a woman, use a woman's bathroom. Children, like my son Garion, and as you can see, there's that little bouncer in the back there, right there. Yeah, that's what we use him. He likes it. Oh, I gotta make sure it's turned off. Yep, it's turned off. It requires a D battery. Who the fuck uses a D battery anymore? Sorry, don't mean to buffer a lot here, guys. I tried to give you guys a little bit better of a uh, um, uh, um, yeah, viewing pleasure. But thing is, if my wife is taking Garion all the way up until he's about 5 into her women's bathroom, I have no problems with that. Gonna click to analyze the fucking issue. I might have to pause and come back real quick, guys, so hold on a second. Yeah, fuck it, I'll just keep going. You guys can still hear me and hear my message, right? But basically, guys, I have no problems if a pre-op that is actually in the process or a post-op after the process transgender is using the bathrooms because they truly identify. They are going under the knife or they have been under the knife. Hell, I took care whenever I was in Minnesota. I took care of a man who went under the knife and became a female. Full female. Evidently, they sliced the dick and inverted it or something. I don't know. Me, I was cringing, but I was a healthcare provider for this person. This person was all right. I had to stop being a healthcare provider because this person decided that she loved me. And seriously, I don't care. To me, deep down inside, I'm never going to deal with that. But the reason I was a healthcare provider was she was a multiple sclerosis person. And I had no problems with that. I'm not going to be romantically involved with somebody who is a post-op. It just, to me, it just isn't right for me. But for somebody else, no problem. Go for it. But the thing is, you can't. I mean, there was a father I saw. It was Facebook or YouTube. A father was videoing him standing outside the female's bathroom while I think his 9-year-old daughter was using the restroom. He basically was willing to get kicked out of Target to protect his daughter. You know what? That's a father. That's somebody who understands the evilness of the world and is willing to protect their child. Now, females using the male's bathroom, most of the time, it's not an issue, but there are female pedophiles. So there's an issue right there, too. I'm sorry, but, you know, like Chris Ann Hall, I've been watching Chris Ann Hall like crazy. Here's a question for everybody. Very simply. When were women in America allowed to vote? What year? I mean, when were they actually allowed to vote? Go ahead and type in your answers. I'll wait. All right. A Will's the only one that actually responded on that. Here's the thing. Hi, Big B. Here's the thing. Women were allowed to vote from the first moment of the creation of America. Yeah, surprising, isn't it? What was the whole women's rights thing and women's equality? You know what? That's because back in, I think Chris Anderson said like 1917 or something like that. A whole bunch of state representatives and stuff got together and decided to limit the voting for females so that they could get their people to vote for them, basically. They were rigging the election. Rigging the election. Gee, California is allowing illegal immigrants to to vote. Not on the primaries, the actual election. To me, that's rigging the election. Another thing is, I don't know if it's a true thing, but it sounds about right, especially for California. Last year, 50% of driver's license were issued to illegal immigrants. Back in 2015, that whole year, 50% of the driver's license issued to people were issued to illegal immigrants. The illegal immigrants have the rights to basically do whatever they want because, well, they're illegal and we don't care. Fuck that bullshit. If they're illegal, they get the fuck out. Because I have to follow the laws as best I can. I have to follow everything that is put down. If I go out there and start running around without a driver's license, I'm getting ticketed. I'm getting thrown in jail. Not the illegal aliens. Yeah, well, we're not part of this country, so fuck you. It's bullshit. And here's something to think about, guys. I have been listening to Chris Anhall quite a bit. I've been listening to the what she's talking about this. Here's something to watch. Yeah, it'll be a refreshing issue. I could stop the broadcast and come back at a lower frame rate. But I'm not sure you guys want me to pause. I don't know if I can come back. We'll try. Okay, I will agree. It is their personal choice if they want to be transgender and everything, if they identify. Yeah, here's one of the biggest fixes for that altogether. You have a men's bathroom, a women's bathroom, and you've got a universal bathroom. It's quick, simple, easy. 3 bathrooms. And then nobody has to worry about somebody else being in danger. All right, I'm going to okay. Okay. Am I back? Looks like I am back. All right. All right, you guys can still hear me, right? You guys can still All right. So here's the issue. Yes. Okay, 4 bathrooms. You know what? It gets politically correct bullshit. The people, oh, don't want to hurt people's feelings. Oh, we're bitching them. You know, for years, transgender or post-op people were using the bathroom that they identified with. Now it's just a big hoopla. You know, fuck it. I'm trying not to rebuff very often here, but it's, you know. But you know what? I'm going to switch to something else here for you guys. This person, this Katie Crosby, I think her name is. She was awesome. Seriously.
Mom, Dad, it's me. Today is October 27th, 2050. I'm still recording on this old camera, the one we used to use when times were better. It's starting to get cold outside, so I found a place to stay for the night. You left us with nothing but a damaged nation and little hope. I'm living in a country ruled by a dictatorship, and the government controls anything it wants to. They manage the people with fear of losing everything. Yes, I'm still living in the United States, if you can still call it that, even after all that's happened. It's not like I can leave anyway. I have no money. I'm homeless. I'm still making these videos for you, even though there is little chance that you will ever see them. If I get caught, I'm going to get punished for doing this. But I have to do this. You need to know the consequences of your actions. We lost everything because of you. People are scared. We have no rights. We are forced to do what the government says or we suffer. They have so much power over us. They manipulated you, and you let them. First, they promised you things like easy access government programs, and people took advantage of it, and the government knew it. They knew that you would. Then they started proposing new things that more and more people could take advantage of. They even used bribery, anything they could to make you like them, to make you want them in charge. They started making decisions for the states on things like health care and education, instead of letting the states choose for themselves. And you let it. That gave them more power. But life was good for you. You didn't have to work as hard, and the government took care of you. And then they started taking things away from you, controlling everything. They forced you to do things, to give up your freedoms for your necessary resources. Poverty levels spiked. People started to lose their homes and were punished if they spoke out about it. Crime went through the roof. The media couldn't tell us the truth because the government took over the media. They wrote a new Bill of Rights basically saying that we have no freedoms. We can't protect ourselves with guns because they took them away from us. We can't speak freely or else we will get arrested. We can't practice any religion unless the government approves of it. The government will arrest people for even looking at them wrong. This all happened because of you. You let the government have this much power. Your generation did not follow, didn't even care about the one thing that protected us all from this corruption: the Constitution. Did you know what it did for you? How it could have helped you? It was placed there to protect our freedoms and to limit the government's power. It seemed like you didn't care at all. I mean, if you really cared about the United States or cared about our future, you would have paid attention, right? No. You thought that learning about a 2-century-old paper couldn't do anything. But it could have. This mess our country is in is the product of your generation's ignorance. All there is left for us is to try to clean up your mess, if we can. This wouldn't have happened if you followed what our founding fathers wrote in the Constitution, and if you would have studied it and paid attention. Why did you do this to us? Did you even care? I have to go now.
Thank you, Tracy. I always hit mute while I'm showing a video so that I don't sit here and blah, 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 in the background. So, I'm unmuted now. All right. But for me, that Katie Crosby young lady is awesome. She did that all on her own. To me, seeing young people get into it. Hell, I found out that there's kids here in the high school that are walking around with this in their pockets. They're showing them to their friends. They're reading with their friends the Constitution. All thanks to Bundy. All thanks to the refuge issue. And hell, there's even teachers that are starting to teach some of this in defiance to the Common Core bullshit. Here's the thing, people. As Katie Crosby put in her video, if we do not learn this, this does not give us our rights. Our rights are already given to us. Whether you believe in God, you believe in a higher entity, you believe in a gigantic planet that created everything, or whatever the fuck, whether you believe you're a Pastafarian and you wear a colander on your head, it doesn't matter. This only shows us the rights that were given to us, that are our inalienable rights. These are the rights that we have with or without the Constitution. The Constitution is just a way to show us that we have those rights. This does not tell us that without this, our rights are not there. This is to inform us what our rights are. It's just a piece of paper with ink on it. It's a dead tree that was mashed up, pulped, and then put into very thin pieces. But in the end, every one of these rights in here is something that we had before. The 5 rights. The 5 rights. I can never remember every single one of them, but Chris Ann Hall has got them memorized beyond belief. But a lot of people can name 3, maybe 4. The 5th one was the right to address our grievances. We have a right to complain. We have a right to say, this is fucked up, you guys are doing wrong, and we're not going to stand for it. We have a right to go to our congressman and complain, you fucked up. If you want to really learn about the Constitution, about how it was originally intended, and not this lawyer backstabbing, twisting the words, British occupied desecration of what this means, what this states. Listen to Chris Ann. Chris Ann is amazing in my opinion. She believes in the Constitution wholeheartedly. She goes around and senators, congressmen, any one of them that try to verbally fence with her are usually proven wrong over and over again. And you know what? That's just the way it works. If you're wrong, it will be proven that you're wrong. If I'm wrong, I will eventually come out and state that I'm wrong on something. One of the things I looked up in the past, well, actually just yesterday, was, there's rumors going around that the first slave owner of the United States was a black man. That is not correct. One of the first slave owners was a black man, but he wasn't the first. Early on in our country, we did have a black man that came over as an indentured servant. He worked his way out. He became a farmer, and he eventually had slaves of his own, and he was a black man. This whole thing about, well, the Constitution was to protect the slavery and the money for the rich white people. You know what? Those people are idiots. Yes, Alex Miller, it will get you killed now. But you know what? Like what Katie Crosby had stated. If we don't do something now, 2050, that could actually be what's really happening. Now, a lot of people say, oh, slavery is horrible. And you know what? Slavery has been around since almost the beginning of human civilization. It has. It's simple. Any of the blacks that became slaves over here, that were sent from Africa over here, were basically sold into slavery from competitive tribes that went and basically captured them and sold them to slavery. It's that simple. But the slavery thing is just bullshit. And you know what? Anybody who sits there and says, "Well, you white people owe us because we're black," you know what? We don't owe them shit. The government doesn't owe us shit. The government needs to back the fuck down, follow what's in the Constitution. Otherwise, they're going to have issues because the government has become tyrannical. And yeah, actually, Mary, hold on. There you go, Mary. All right. The government has become tyrannical, and just because me saying that will cause the government to really look at me and come at me. You know what? They're going to come at us anyways. There's nothing you can do about it. They're coming at us. They have. I mean, one of the first things in the Constitution is the freedom of speech. You know what? The freedom of speech is awesome. And that is the way it should be. Being able to say what you want to say, being able to say how the tyrannical government, or being able to say this was illegal or whatever, is there. And if I ever get thrown into jail like Pete Santilli, I'm going to do two things. And by their laws, they have to allow it. One, when I am going up there and they're like, okay, you've got your lawyer, I'll be like, okay, I'm going to be co-counsel for my own lawyer. By law, you can do that. Which means when you go up, whenever they do their nice little conference up at the judge, you, as a co-counsel, can go up there and hear what is said. Second thing, as a co-counsel, I can make my opening statement straight to the jury. And I can actually even have an opinion on what jury members come in or not, so I don't get railroaded. But I basically, I wouldn't care which jury members, because I would actually, in my opening statement, I would talk about jury nullification. It is something that existed way before America ever even happened. Listen to Chris Ann Hall. She'll give you a lowdown on the documents from Great Britain, from England, that helped write this. The damn... Yeah, there we go. I can never figure out the camera thing perfectly. Listen to Chris Ann Hall. She is awesome. Just listen to her. I listen to her almost regularly now because she has good stories. She tells it as it is. She doesn't back down. If 90% of Americans had half of her knowledge about the Constitution, the government would be shaking in their high-priced leather Italian boots. And the thing is, guys, honest, how do I explain this properly? You need to go out there and inform people. Tell them to listen to Chris Ann. Tell them she's hot. Okay? Any of the guys, tell them that Chris Ann Hall is hot. Because she is. She's actually hot. A short woman that's blonde, brown hair, black hair. She dyes her hair, but she's hot. She's got attitude. She's got a personality. And she's got a very wonderful voice. Females, if you're talking to a female, tell them to listen to Chris Ann. Because there we are. Female rights, female power, and all that other crap. You know what? Have the females listen to Chris Ann and say, this woman has been attacked over and over again about her constitutionality. She has been put on the Southern Poverty List because they're supposed to do groups of people. They put her, singular, on their list because of how strong of a woman she is. I am sorry if YouTube's messing up. Like I said, it's going to be a short show. I've got my blanket I got to keep on working on. Thing is, guys, if we don't make the change, who's going to make it? Seriously. If you don't make a change, if you don't even make a small effort, you're letting other people make the effort for you, then what's going to get done? I'm here talking. I'm trying to inform people, let people know what's happening. There hasn't been much happening here. Except last Saturday, you guys got to see that. There's a gun show happening over at the fairgrounds right now. There's not much happening here. But I'm letting people know. I'm getting my voice out there. What are you doing? I've even talked to people around town here. I've let them in on information like the flavor enhancers. Hell, I'm drinking coffee and tea that I make. Because I refuse to drink soda anymore because just about every soda has the flavor enhancers. A lot of the food I used to enjoy, don't like it anymore. I don't go to fast foods anymore because of that shit. I'm letting people know bit by bit. I'm not doing it. I'm not going out and yelling it to everybody. I am talking with people regularly. When I talk to them every day, or the sporadic times I actually go out into public, I let them know. Hell, my wife. You guys remember Bruce Cuff from my last video, right? Well, that video, Mary Brown, real quick, look for ginger root pills. That'll soak up the stomach acid and help with the heartburn. Trust me. It worked for me. Anyways, that video I did last Saturday, my wife is over at my mother-in-law's right now with my son. And she brought the iPad that I recorded it on over there to show Sally that video. so that Sally and Tom, my mother-in-law and my father-in-law, can watch it and learn about a real constitutional, down-to-earth person that's trying to become governor. One that wants the federal overreach to be away from Oregon. You guys heard him speak last week, and he has not stopped. He's gotten better. He is not giving lip service. You could tell he's not a backstabbing little bitch like most of these other politicians. He's somebody who really means what he says. I try to get the message out the best I can. You guys are listening, and I thank you. I really do thank you. But I can only talk right now. In the future, if things escalate even bigger, talking will be done, and something else will come. I'm never going to state what's going to come, because I want to still be free or alive when that time comes, so I can get to enjoy it. Most of the people listening either have children or grandchildren. They may be brothers, sisters, wives, daughters, sons of the people in the patriotic community that are the 3 Ps. Patriotic political prisoners. The ones that are basically getting their mail sent, blocked. They can't even, a lot of mail is not even getting sent to them anymore, because they want the people to go crazy. They want them to go nuts. They want them to mentally break down. So they're kind of blockading the mail. They're putting them in solitary confinement, because solitary confinement has been proven to be a torture technique. They're torturing our political prisoners over there. And if you believe in the Constitution, if you believe that the government has done a major overreach, then you are a brother or sister of those political prisoners. If not by blood, by heart. They're in prison. You're free. Get their message out even more. Repost on Facebook. Go on Twitter and let all your friends know about videos that really matter. I'm starting to get trolls, because evidently I'm doing something right. Tachyon Time Lord. Yes, you got plugged into this video. Guess what? You're a troll. Just because you don't want something to be true does not mean it isn't true. We are trying to get the message out. We are not federal bitches. We are not government slaves. We are Americans. We are proud and we are strong. And we will not go down without fighting. And right now the fight is verbal. The fight is here. Knowledge. They can take your guns away. They can take your voice away. They can take everything away from you until they kill you or give you a lobotomy. The knowledge you have in your head is still yours. They can't take that away. And you can impart that knowledge to other people. Learn the truth. As I say, seek the truth, speak the truth, and be the truth. And in doing that, you will wake the nation.